Vegan Adventures, welcome to the second day in Belogradchik, Bulgaria. Today we're gonna explore the Belogradchik fortress with stunning rock formations, where I'm also gonna fly a drone. Let's get into the vlog. The Belogradchik fortress. The initial fortress was constructed during the time when the region was part of the Roman Empire. The rock formations in the area served as a natural protection, as fortified walls were practically only built from the northwest and southeast, with the yard being surrounded by rocks up to 70 meters high from the other sides. Initially, the Belogradchik fortress served for surveillance and not strictly defense. Bulgarian Tsar of Vidin Ivan Tsatimir extended the old fortress in the 14th century, building fortified garrisons in the front of the existing rock massifs. During the Ottoman conquest of Bulgaria, the fortress was captured by the Ottomans in 1396. They were forced to further expand the stronghold due to intensified Hajduk and insurrectionist activity in the region. And here we got up on top of one of those rocks, where you get this amazing view of the other rocks around you. Considerable changes to the fortress were made by the early 19th century. These changes were typical for the Ottoman castle architecture of the period, a full reorganization being carried out as well as the additional expansion. Typically European elements were added to the Belogradchik fortress owing to the French and Italian engineers that participated in the expansion. The stronghold had an important role in the Ottoman suppression of the Bulgarian Belogradchik uprising in 1850. It was last used in warfare during the Serbo-Bulgarian War in 1885. And I hope you enjoyed this amazing drone footage that I shot from the same place as we've been yesterday near our accommodation, as I don't think it's allowed to fly a drone in the fortress. Formation of Belogradchik rocks. Many rock figures and small valleys with steep vertical slopes have formed over hundreds of millions of years as a result of the natural processes of erosion, denudation, growth of the mosses and lichens, and other natural factors. The formation of the Belogradchik rock started during the Permian period about 230 million years ago, when the tectonic cycle was folding to create the Balkan Mountains and elevating the region of the Belogradchik. Later, during the Triassic period, the region became the floor of a shallow sea, At the same time, the destruction of the earlier Paleozoic rocks formed enormous quantities of gravel, sand and clay, which were deposited by the rivers into the sea basin. The sediment piled up and gradually became thicker layers of conglomerates and sandstone, with the conglomerate pieces becoming well rounded over time by the forces of water. During the Jurassic period, over a period of 20 million years, the layered materials became firmly glued together by sand clay solder or silicon. The hot and dry climate formed a great amount of iron oxide or hematite, which gave the rocks their rusty red color. When the Earth's crust started to settle, lighter and smaller sandstone merged with the red conglomerates. At the beginning of the Cenozoic era and the early Alpine tectonic cycle, large anticlines or faults were being formed in the Balkan Mountains, and during this time the region turned to dry land. About 45 million years ago, the rising of the Belogradchik anticline began, and during this folding, the limestone and the conglomerates in the core cracked, creating vertical and horizontal rifts in the ridge of the anticline. In the core of the Belogradchik anticline, Paleozoic rocks are found and the slopes are formed of conglomerate, sandstone and Jurassic limestone. And here I decided to go on top of another rock, but there was this crack in between, so you had to pretty much jump on the other side, but I was really confident, so don't try this if you're not confident enough. The vertical penetration and surface rivers favored vertical erosion of the rock layers, and the rifts where tectonic movement occurred were transformed by the erosion in small valleys and the passes with vertical or steep slopes, forming separate vertical blocks seen today as the rock figures. Here I'm flying again drone from our accommodation around these rocks, so I hope you enjoy it. Here on the right you can see the rock where I was just standing, so I wish I could fly a drone when I was standing there. As you're going back down, you can see the gap where I was jumping from to the other rock. Looks really gnarly from here. And over here you can again see the rock where I was standing, so imagine the people who saw it from here, they must think that I was crazy. So this fortress is one of the top touristic attractions in Bulgaria, so you can see there are many buses and tourists here. We're kind of lucky that we got here before these buses arrived today. And as we had some more time in the day, we decided to go for another walk to explore the nature and maybe some more rock formations here. And here we got up on this little hill where you can get a nice view of the surrounding of the Belogradchik area. We also can see the more rock formations around here. All these rock formations look really amazing, it just makes you want to climb them. But the thing is, they're made from not stable material, so when you climb it could easily happen that the rock just loosens up and you would fall down. So here I decided to climb one of them, but as you can see it's not really high, maybe 3 meters, so even if I fell down I would not get hurt so much. But again, you have to have 100% confidence in your skills to be able to climb these things. Exploring more rock formations, it is the best natural playground. And just before we were about to return back home, I found this nice route up this rock, so I decided to go for it and see how far I can get. So you see I'm moving very slowly and being very cautious because any of these rocks could just loosen up and fall down. At the end I found some good holds and actually managed to find a way all the way up this rock. Rock climbing is one of the best ways to get out of your comfort zone and makes you feel really alive. Alright vegan adventurers, that's it for the Belogradchik Bulgarian adventures. Next we're gonna go for the vegan cruise ship adventures in the Baltic Sea. So really definitely make sure you stay tuned for those videos. And as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous!